Now at 7, a woman taking legal action against American Airlines after she says a drunk passenger assaulted her mid-air as she tried to make her way back to Portland. Why her attorney says the man should have never been allowed on the plane to begin with. Plus, Willamette University and Pacific University eyeing a merger that would create Oregon's largest private college. We'll hear from the presidents of each university. And Michael Allen Harrison is in the house this morning previewing his annual Christmas at the Old Church. All the details, including when you can go see him, coming up at 7:45. Sunrise streaming live at 7 starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green. Chris McGinnis, just me and you, kid.
And a pretty sunrise.
And a pretty sunrise.
And some great music,
yes.
too. All right, here you go. There's the live look from Timberline. We are still about 30 minutes away from sunrise, but as we look off to the south, Mount Jefferson, Three Sisters in the distance, that's pretty up top. Down below, this is the low cloud deck that is basically swallowing up our sunrise this morning, and we'll show you that here from our Wells Fargo sky camera, where the low clouds are kind of really hanging, well, low. 54 last check at PDX. Pretty foggy down towards our state capital as well. Temperature and the dew point are matched. The air is saturated, and we've got a dense fog advisory for parts of the viewing area this morning. Hillsborough, McMinnville, Salem, dense fog advisory for you folks until 10 o'clock. So a little foggy out the door for some of us, really foggy in some cases in Marion County, Yamhill, Washington County as well. The fog will slowly lift, and we should see a few breaks in the clouds, maybe like we saw yesterday here in Portland, with highs not quite as warm, but 55 or 56 should do it later today. We're dry tomorrow. I've got a little bit of light rain back in the weekend forecast for Sunday. More on that in just a few minutes. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads. And the roads don't look all that bad right now. The drive time coming in from Clark County actually in fine shape over the Interstate Bridge and the Glenn Jackson Bridge. Upper left-hand part of your screen is the inbound Sunset. We're tapping the brakes a bit coming down the hill from the zoo into the tunnel. Lower right-hand part of your screen, that's I-205 in or near Oregon City. You can see traffic still zipping along just fine there. China, no major trouble out there just yet.
Thank you, Chris. First on Sunrise, a judge sentenced a Portland man to life in prison for a deadly shooting near the Burnside Bridge. A jury convicted 21-year-old Rizzo Lucas of second-degree murder for killing Fars G'day in April of 2022. Investigators say Lucas, who was barely 18 at the time, walked up to G'day on Southwest Nato Parkway, pulled out a pistol, and shot him in the neck. G'day ran towards the Burnside Bridge, where he eventually bled to death. We spoke to G'day's sister after that hearing, where she shared this message for her brother's killer.
I hope he has a miserable time in jail. I hope the food makes his stomach hurts every day. I hope he has headaches and nightmares. And I hope my brother is traumatizing him every time he goes to sleep.
Investigators found no clear motive, but just weeks before the shooting, police arrested Lucas for an assault in Northwest Portland, but he was released on bail. A Portland woman is suing American Airlines after she was allegedly sexually assaulted by a drunk passenger soon after the plane took off. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us now in the newsroom. Thomas, walk us through what happened here.
Yeah, well, China, this started at an airport in Springfield, Missouri last December when the Portland woman's lawyer says another passenger was pounding beers and shots at an airport bar during a flight delay. The man allegedly said something inappropriate to the Portland woman, who then left the bar. But once the flight began to board, her attorney Mark Lindquist says the man caused more problems. He was allowed on the flight and his seat was right next to the Portland woman's. That's when court documents report he said something like, quote, "This is my lucky day." The woman put in headphones and tried to ignore him, but that's when things got even worse.
Once the plane started taking off, he started grabbing her and groping her, and she yelled for a flight attendant. At first, the flight attendant was, ma'am, you've got to stay in your seat. But then the flight attendant realized what was happening and moved her to a different seat.
The captain reported the incident to local police in Dallas when they landed. The victim and a flight attendant who was also allegedly assaulted spoke with investigators. A police report is referenced in the lawsuit where the man admits to mixing alcohol with prescription drugs. Lindquist says the man has been charged. The victim has sued her alleged attacker along with American Airlines and SkyWest Airlines.
Our client wants accountability and also wants to make sure that this doesn't happen to other people on airplanes. She wants to see airlines follow the rules and keep flights safe and keep drunks off.
We've reached out to both American Airlines and SkyWest for a statement on this lawsuit. An American spokesperson told us, quote, "The safety of our customers and team members is our highest priority. We are reviewing the complaint." China.
Thomas, thank you. Meantime, a grand jury has cleared a Clackamas County Sheriff's deputy of any wrongdoing after shooting a man in early November. Investigators say that the deputy was called to a home where a man who was reportedly intoxicated and had a possible mental health issue set a trailer on fire. As the deputy exited her car, the suspect, 44-year-old Daniel Zimmerman, allegedly sprinted at her, ignored commands to stop, then put his hands behind his back. That's when the deputy fired a single shot. Zimmerman was treated at the hospital. His trial is set for January. The Multnomah County DA's office retail task force is asking for your help finding this man wanted for aggravated theft. So take a good look at your screen right here. The DA's office says 54-year-old Timothy Jones is accused of stealing from Plaid Pantry stores across Portland. He's been frequently seen at Dawson Park near North Stanton and Williams. If you see him, call 911. You can also contact Crime Stoppers of Oregon, which is offering up to $2,500 reward for any tips that lead to an arrest. Effective immediately, Multnomah County is banning semi-trucks from using the Stark Street Bridge after another crash in October. You may remember a truck slammed into the concrete wall, crumpling the pedestrian bridge fence and launching a chunk of stone onto the sandy riverbank. Now, commercial trucks over 19 tons are banned from turning onto the bridge from the historic Columbia River Highway. The restriction will stay in place until the 110-year-old bridge is replaced. Willamette University and Pacific University have signed a letter of intent to explore a merger. If approved, the move would make the new combined school the largest private university in Oregon. The institution would be renamed the University of Northwest, but each campus would retain its individual branding and identity. Both university presidents said that it will create more opportunities for students.
In the long run, what we hope is to provide our students with more pathways into more fields so that they can find success in the fields that Oregon needs the most.
We really want to be an institution that can nimbly respond and provide what our future students need and what our state needs and our region needs.
They say the process will take years but won't impact current students. The universities plan to spend the next few months working toward a finalized agreement. Then they will have to deal with regulation hurdles as well. Your time now is 7:07. We're taking a live look from our Wells Fargo Skycam. You can't tell because you can't see anything out there because of all the fog. Chris McGinnis, when I drove to work this morning at 3 a.m., it was just as foggy. I thought it would have cleared by now.
Yeah, it moves around, right? It depends on how clear the sky is above as to how the ground radiates that heat out and hence the fog formation. Actually, fog not bad right now in Vancouver. This is the live look from the springs to the waterfront in Vancouver. You can see traffic actually zipping along just fine over the interstate bridge. 53 right now at Pearson Airfield. This is a cool look from the Rose City Sky Camera looking back. China pointed out the view from the Wells Fargo Sky Camera, which is right there, and the tippy top of the building is up here. It's in the low cloud deck. So below it, we've got some visibility, but the clouds are right around 500 to 1,000 feet. So West Hills are likely socked in. Well, they are socked in. 54 last check at PDX. We can see a little bit more of the state capitol right now than we could earlier today, but still Salem is socked in a little bit. Air is saturated, hence the really foggy conditions there. There is a dense fog advisory for Salem, for Marion County, Yamhill County, Washington County, Hillsborough right now, checking in with a half-a-mile visibility. Salem has been bouncing between a quarter and a half-mile visibility for the last little while. So again, dense fog advisory in effect for you folks until 10 a.m. That fog may have a tough time lifting in the central Willamette Valley, which is why temperatures probably stay in the low 50s there. Mid-50s will do it here in Portland and Vancouver later today. Say hello to Shugs. Shugs is today's pet of the day. If you want to get a shout out to your pet, snap a photo and send it to the email address on your screen. petoftheday@kgw.com. Stacy Webster. Shugs is today's pet of the day. Let's get you into your weekend forecast. Not bad. Little wet Sunday. The showers Sunday don't look like too big of a deal. Light rain. But the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time frame, in no way is this like what we just went through, but it will be pretty wet. And I'll look at that coming up in just a few minutes. Let's get you out the door, get a look at the roads. The roads are a little slow, getting a little bit busier as we get deeper into the Friday morning commute. Up in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, that's the inbound Sunset. Riding the brake a bit, coming down the hill from the zoo into the tunnel. the lower left-hand corner, that's I-5 up near the Expo Center. The headlights there heading southbound, and it looks even a little drippy or drizzly there. That said, the drive time coming in from Clark County, not bad. The interstate and the Glen Jackson Bridge both zipping along at speed limit clips. China?
Thank you, Chris. If you want more of that, you'll want to check out the annual Great Figgy Pudding Caroling Competition tonight. Coming up next, we'll have details on the event, plus more holiday activities to do this weekend when Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
There are only a few days left in our KGW Great Toy Drive, and we need your help to give gifts to as many kids as possible. One way you can do that is by going online at kgw.com/toy and clicking Donate Cash. And it is a great week to give because Great Clips is doubling your donations for double the toys. You can also drop off new unwrapped toys at 2 of our collection events this weekend. So the first one is tomorrow at Cedar Hills Crossing from 11 to 2. The second one is Sunday at the Beaverton Hillsdale Highway. Fred Meyer from 11 to 2. Drew and I will be there from 11 to 1. And remember, Drew announced yesterday that he is leaving Portland and KGW to pursue dreams in Denver. So your last chance to see him in person, say goodbye to an old friend, and bring in toys at the same time. Meantime, Gresham Police are hosting their own Phil the Cruiser Holiday Toy Drive today to benefit children in Gresham community. Local officers will collect the donated toys and distribute them to children who may otherwise go without this holiday season. So you can donate new unwrapped toys at the Fred Meyer store on Southeast Burnside from 11 to 7 today. And if you're looking for something to get into the festive mood, there are a ton of events happening around our area this weekend. Tim Gordon takes a look at some of your weekend things to do.
We are past the main bulk of the week and heading quickly to the weekend now. And while the week started off rather rainy, very rainy actually, we're expecting things to get a bit drier, particularly on Saturday, making it a great time to get out and about. And we've got a great list of local events to help you do just that. And we're going to start in Portland's living room with the 11th annual Great Figgy Pudding Caroling Competition. That's starting at 6 p.m. this Friday. Caroling groups will be spreading holiday cheer in a 10-block radius of Pioneer Courthouse Square. Then at 7:30, the top 3 groups will return to the square for a final carol-off. The group that gets the most audience applause wins $1,000 and, of course, bragging rights. Our very own Drew Carney hosting this event as well, so it'll be a lot of fun. More details, head to Pioneer Courthouse Square's website. And this weekend also marks the return of the 41st annual Scan Fair at the Oregon Convention Center. Saturday through Sunday, you can peruse goods from more than 100 local vendors while enjoying traditional Scandinavian dishes and live entertainment. Tickets to this event range from around $15 for adults to free for kids under 5. And for more information and to get tickets, head to Nordic Northwest's website. And if you need a spot to grab a last-minute gift, the Portland Bazaar is back in Northwest Portland. More than 100 local vendors will be set up this weekend and next at the Premier Gear and Machine Works building in Slabtown. Artists, makers, and small businesses will be offering goods that range from edible to wearable. The event is free to attend. Just check out portlandbazaar.com for more details. And finally, if you're craving something sweet, then the Holiday Cookie Swap might be the right place for you. This Sunday from 6 to 8, you can swing by Vivienne Culinary Books off Alberta in Northeast Portland and bring a box to grab a selection of home-baked goods from local artisans. Bakers are encouraged to bring 24 of their own creations to share as well. You can find more information at Vivienne Culinary Books website. For more weekend inspiration, check out the 8 Things to Do article up each week on KGW.com.
Speaking of things to do this weekend, we've got Michael Allen Harrison in the building this morning, previewing his annual Christmas at the Old Church Spectacular. We'll have more details coming up in our next half hour at 7:45.
I love that he's here.
Yes.
I love that he's playing all 4 hours of our show.
I know. We get to hear him all the time. I do have a bone to pick with you people in Portland. I love the holiday markets. Like, I love them. I went to the bazaar last year. I was there for 4 hours. I'm going this year again. Last weekend, my husband and I wanted to go to the Portland Christmas one, whatever, it was downtown. It was the big one. We got down there and we walked away. The line was like around the building.
It probably
would take an hour and a half just to get in.
We are dedicated people here in Portland to our Christmas bazaars.
I almost cried. Because I was so excited. I was looking forward to it. I was texting my husband. I was like, we get to go tonight. I'm so excited.
Sounds like that is a plea to the organizers to expand your venue.
Yes, make it bigger.
Yes, make it bigger.
Make it bigger.
All right, let's go big or go home with the weather. How about we just make it drier?
Yeah.
Let's do that. We've got it's a little drippy and drizzly out there. In some cases this morning it's also foggy, but we've got dry weather today and tomorrow. So I'm happy to point that out. We may have a little fog tomorrow morning as well, and then we're optimistic that we'll get some sunshine on Saturday afternoon. All right, rain does return Sunday. Sunday's rain does not look like that big of a deal. It'll be pretty light rain. However, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday does look pretty wet. And before we get all, into an alarm about that, I want to kind of ease any fears. Obviously, the rain top of mind after what we just went through. There is some subtropical moisture that hits the central Oregon or basically the Oregon coast Monday and Tuesday. This is in no way reminiscent of what we just went through. However, cumulatively, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the European model spitting out over an inch, maybe an inch and a half of rain for the I-5 corridor, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as a whole. So that's going to be the wettest stretch of our 7-day forecast. This weekend, dry. Also, quite mild. That's the other story after the rain is just how doggone warm it's been for the month of December. So through yesterday, December 11th, PDX is more than 7.5 degrees above average for the month of December. We were back-to-back days in the 60s. We had a low on Wednesday that never got below 58, which of course means there has been no snow in the Cascades at all. That may change next week. Here's a look at the GFS forecasted snow level. By the middle of next week, it starts to dip down to Cascade Pass level. And by the way, this is also corroborated with the European model too. So we're getting more model consensus that beyond the middle of next week, we start to transition to a cooler weather pattern, which will lead to, we think, snow, meaningful snow in the Cascades in time for the holidays, a Christmas present. We'll see. We're crossing our fingers for that. All right, right now some light fog in the interstate bridge. It's 53 degrees in Vancouver. The low clouds have kind of swallowed up the top of the skyscrapers in downtown Portland. It's 54, by the way, at PDX. And the fog is quite thick out towards Hillsborough, McMinnville, and Salem right now, all reporting a half-mile visibility. Washington County, Yamhill County, Marion, and Polk County under a dense fog advisory until 10. That fog may not lift today And even here in the Portland, Vancouver metro area, I mean, we may poke some holes in the clouds, but by no means are we looking for widespread sunshine today. Tomorrow starts off with fog. If we get a little bit of a breeze, that may help scour things out. And tomorrow afternoon actually looks like a pretty decent day here in Portland. All right, mid to upper 50s, we'll do it here in Portland, up towards Vancouver and Longview, maybe low 50s if the fog hangs on longer down towards Salem. Mind you, the average high this time of year is 47. So again, the very, very warm weather continues. Fog to sunshine tomorrow, a little rainy on Sunday, and then as we mentioned, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Not like what we just went through, but those are certainly pretty wet days in the forecast, so just be prepared for that if you've got any outdoor plans. Of course, if you make outdoor plans in December in Portland, you know it rains, so I guess you are already prepared, right? Here's the drive out there right now. Not in too bad a shape. There's the Sunset, Highway 26, riding the brakes a little bit coming down towards the Vista Ridge Tunnel. I-5 down in the Wilsonville area. It's like low clouds or fog there, but not bad. And there's the I-5 drive through North Portland. If you look closely, it looks like there's maybe a little drizzle on that camera lens, so maybe a little drippy, but it's barely impacting the drive. China, right now we're looking at a commute that gets you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge in about 10 minutes. And China will be right back, and so will I.
Health insurance premiums are almost certain to spike for millions of Americans on Obamacare after the Senate failed to pass 2 votes, one backed by each party. I'm Alice Barr in Washington with the latest details on what's next coming up.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
So yesterday, the Senate rejected 2 health care bills, which means insurance premiums will likely double for millions of Americans on the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. But now the House is eyeing its own version of the bill next week. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest.
With a 1-2 punch of failed votes from each party,
the motion is not agreed to.
the Senate knocking out hopes of offering a health care fix before Obamacare subsidies expire at the end of the month, sending insurance premiums soaring for some 22 million Americans. Overnight, President Trump, who refused to negotiate when Democrats pushed to extend the subsidies during the government shutdown, now calling for a bipartisan solution.
I really believe we can work on health care together and come up with something that's going to be much better, much less expensive for the people.
The Senate's top Democrat arguing Republicans who have long opposed Obamacare have failed to find a viable alternative.
They put a little bubble gum and Scotch tape together and put together a ridiculous, phony plan.
Republicans say the Obamacare system itself has forced health care costs up. Instead, they want to put money directly in Americans' health savings accounts.
They can use it, pay for premiums, whatever, and then make sure we cover pre-existing condition.
For now, with both plans failing on the Senate floor, Obamacare recipients like cancer survivor Rebecca Davis are about to take a hit. Her premium set to double in the new year.
There's a lot of stress that comes with receiving that bill in the mail.
Speaker Mike Johnson promising a vote in the House next week.
That will bring down the cost of health care for all Americans, not just 7% of them.
It's not clear what that plan would be, with time running out for Americans in need.
President Donald Trump has banned states from regulating artificial intelligence. The president signed an executive order Thursday that aims to create a single national framework for AI. It also blocks states from enforcing their own regulations around it.
This program has been around for more than 30 years. It's kept millions of gallons of paint from ending up in the landfill.
A metro program is shutting down after 30 years of paint recycling. Coming up in our next half hour, how it's inspired changes and why it's closing now. Plus, we are looking ahead to the Winter Olympics and some of the most popular sliding sports. But what exactly is the difference between bobsledding, luge, and skeleton? We have the answers coming up for you when Sunrise Streaming Live at 7 continues.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We're coming up on 7:29 on your Friday morning drive. We've got our first traffic alert of the morning in the upper left-hand part of your screen. That's I-205 southbound near Westland. A crash has the southbound right lane blocked. We'll zoom in. I can show you the drive starting to back up pretty significantly around that. So give yourself a few extra minutes to get around that crash. Again, that's near Westland, and traffic backing up pretty quickly towards Highway 43. The rest of our drive times are actually not in too bad a shape this morning, despite the fog out there. How about this for a sunrise? This is from Timberline Lodge, looking south towards Jefferson and the Three Sisters. Of course, we're below that cloud deck that you see there, so we're not seeing that this morning. What we are seeing is this. The tops of the downtown buildings are socked in right now. It's 54 last check at PDX. We're in and out of the fog this morning. In fact, some areas under a dense fog advisory until 10. Fog will be slow to lift, but it will, and we'll get maybe a few sun breaks today. 56 for high. Dry Saturday. Light rain returns on Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week do look pretty wet with highs in the lower 50s.
That's Michael Allen Harrison, who is in the house this morning previewing his annual Christmas at the Old Church Spectacular. We'll have more details, including when you can see him, coming up at 7:45. Good morning and thank you for joining us at 7:30. I'm China Green. Chris McGinnis standing by for a look at weather and traffic.
No, let's listen to this for more.
Just keep going. Yeah.
Keep going. The music was pretty fitting for this. A really pretty sunrise. Unfortunately, you got to go up to Timberline Lodge to see it. Up at 6,000 feet on Mount Hood. You can see the tippy top of Mount Jefferson just now starting to catch the first rays of that sun off to the east as the sun is just now getting ready to come up over the horizon. Low clouds, though, down below. You can see those in the nooks and crannies of the Cascade foothills, and we'll take you below it. This is the Wells Fargo sky camera. You see anything? Me neither. The building is up in the low cloud deck. It's 54 at PDX. This is a different perspective. That camera, by the way, is right there underneath the cloud cover. So that's what we're waking up to this morning. And in some cases, that fog is quite thick. We're back to the Capitol Mall in Salem, where the air is saturated, 100% humidity, leading to areas of dense fog. Half-mile visibility right now in Hillsborough, McMinnville, and down towards Salem, where we do have a dense fog advisory in effect until 10 o'clock. So foggy for some of us, really foggy as you get down to the south. The fog will be slow to lift, but I think even here in Portland, we'll see some sunshine, or at least a few breaks in the clouds, not sun, but sun breaks with highs in the upper 50s. More so tomorrow, and then a little bit of rain in our weekend forecast, more so next week. We'll look at that coming up in just a few minutes. Let's get you out the door. We do have a traffic alert, our first trouble spot of the morning commute. It's in West Lynn, the upper left-hand corner of your screen. That's I-205 near 10th Street. The southbound right lane is blocked approaching the West Lynn exit, and traffic is stacking up for about a mile and a half around that, getting back to Highway 43. So if you're heading south over the Abernathy Bridge, you'll hit that wall of traffic right around Highway 43. It's a little slow and go, obviously, through that stretch of freeway. Elsewhere, not too bad just yet. The drive-in from Hillsborough, less than 20 minutes. That's not bad. And crossing the Interstate Bridge, it's just an 11-minute clip to get you from Main Street to the Fremont. China?
Thank you, Chris. This morning, we are continuing to track the impact of this week's atmospheric rivers and heavy rain. So in Northwest Washington, as many as 100,000 people may need to evacuate due to widespread flooding. The worst of it is in Skagit County, north of Seattle, where the Skagit River could see its highest levels in modern history. Close to our area here in Lewis County, more than a dozen people spent Wednesday night at a Red Cross shelter set up at St. John's Lutheran Church. One evacuee talked about what she saw before heading to the shelter.
I turned around the corner, it was just looked like a lake, basically, and everybody was just kind of carrying all their stuff out, and some people were getting mad and crying, and there's a lot of animals that were like in distress and everything.
So that evacuee got to return home yesterday. During a press conference, Washington Governor Bob Ferguson says that he is working closely with FEMA to try and approve a disaster declaration for the state. Meantime, a family is grateful for Good Samaritans in a community near Olympia whose actions may have saved their lives. So when a woman and her sister's kids were headed to laser light show, they didn't see any road closed signs, and they thought that they could make it through the floodwaters of the rising Chehalis River. But their car shut down, and they had to wade into the water and find help.
Giovanni's carrying Liliana. Me and Gabriel are walking towards a truck that I don't know who's in there. I'm just hoping that it's a good person, and thankfully it was an amazing person. And he just opened his doors, let us in, didn't even ask us any questions, and just started taking us back to where, to where there was dry land.
It turns out the road had been closed, but apparently the signs washed away and the floodwaters. Luckily, the family was not hurt. Meantime, the Snoqualmie River is going down, but officials say the danger is far from over. Many roads remain closed and flooding is still trapping over 10,000 people. All day yesterday, people in Fall City have been walking along closed roads to take a look. The river rose about 60 feet. That's the highest it's been since 2006.
I don't have the word to say. It's insane, which is what I've been saying the past 3 days. It's just so much water. It's just phenomenal.
So the water level remains high in a number of areas, so we don't have a clear picture of the damage yet. After more than 30 years in business, Metro Paint is closing its doors at the end of the year. Metro Paint is operated by Metro to recycle and repurpose paint from around our area. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us now. So Thomas, why are they closing here?
Jenna, the big thing is there's just more private industry that's now in the business than ever before selling recycled paint, meaning that Metro, a government agency, can take a step back.
For the past 30 years, this warehouse has been a staple of North Portland by doing something innovative.
When Metro first began recycling paint in the early 90s, there really wasn't a program like Metro Paint.
Gia Balish, a spokesperson for Metro, says nobody in the area recycled paint when the program started. Instead, it was shucked into landfills. So Metro stepped in and created Metro Paint, which has recycled millions of gallons of paint.
So these mixers are high-speed motors that are going to blend up all those shades of red or white or blue into one consistent color.
Michael Feliz has worked here for 8 years. Unused paint from around the state funnels into this building, where workers recycle it into a new product.
It's a pretty intensive process.
Intensive, but good for the environment.
Not only does that help conserve natural resources and water, but it really has helped cut down on carbon pollution that comes from making new paint.
Balish says the program spurred a state law in 2009, mandating all paint be recycled.
Metro Paint is a success story. This program has been around for more than 30 years. It's kept millions of gallons of paint from ending up in the landfill.
Though at the end of the year, Metro Paint will close for good. Balish says more private companies are in the business, meaning Metro no longer needs to lend a hand.
It's just amazing to see the scale of paint that has come in here.
But before the paint store closes,
you can see shelves are starting to empty out.
They're offering low prices to customers in need of a final batch of Metro Paint.
We're already seeing availability start to dwindle for some colors, so if you have a particular shade in mind, definitely come out sooner rather than later.
So earlier this week, myself and photographer Eric Patterson visited Metro Paint, and we found that paint was just $9 a bucket right now. Those prices will drop as the month goes on, as Metro Paint gets closer to shutting its doors for good, but of course, limited supply there. For anyone looking to learn where to recycle paint now that Metro Paint will be closing, they're advised to visit paintcare.org for those drop-off locations. Jenna?
Thomas, thank you for that. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield and a coalition of 20 states are claiming victory after the government tried to shut down a disaster preparedness program. So the coalition sued after the Trump administration said that it would halt billions in grants meant to strengthen infrastructure against natural disasters, calling the program wasteful and ineffective. The court ruled that the president had no authority to refuse to spend the money that Congress already approved. The Oregon Transportation Commission has decided to keep the Rose Quarter I-5 expansion project going despite limited funding. The Trump administration revoked federal grant money, leaving the project with only a fraction of the $2 billion needed. The plan for now is to keep construction moving with the cash that is available in the hopes that Oregon's legislature will step in to help. The project's goal is to widen I-5 through the Rose Quarter to ease traffic issues. So we've had a few chances to see the northern lights in the Pacific Northwest this year, but this weekend could bring something even better. The Geminid's meteor shower will be active all weekend with peak viewing Saturday night. Experts say you could see up to 120 meteors an hour with the best viewing from midnight to dawn. But if you're an early riser, don't worry, some might be visible as early as 9 p.m. The best way to view the meteor is to find somewhere away from the city lights and give your eyes about 30 minutes to adjust. So it's a whole thing, Chris McGinnis.
Yeah, meteor watching. One time I was climbing actually Mount Hood during the Perseid meteor shower. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, that is really something. So it's cool to be able to see that stuff. Will we see it here in Portland? There's a chance that the sky is somewhat clear early on tomorrow evening after sunset, before midnight, but our next weather system is coming in tomorrow night, so there's a little touch and go on that. East of the Cascades, good chance for you folks to see it over in Madras and Bend, et cetera, et cetera. All right, right now we are socked in with some fog. This is the live look right now from the Interstate Bridge and the Springs of the Waterfront camera. And the low clouds have gotten a little bit lower up in Vancouver. It's 53 there. Above the cloud deck, this has been a pretty shot for the last little while from Timberline. Our camera pointed south towards Mount Jefferson and the Three Sisters. Some high clouds up top, and here's the low cloudiness that's in the Cascade foothills, and you can see that. There's a little bit of a breeze up there as well. No breeze down low, but the air is saturated, and that's why it looks like this in Salem right now. 46, dew point 46, that equals 100% humidity, and that equals fog. We've got half-mile visibility right now in Hillsborough, McMinnville, and Salem. There's a dense fog advisory for that part of our area until 10 o'clock today. All right, let's check out Futurecast. The fog may not burn off in Marion County completely, so that'll keep your temperatures a little bit lower today. But in the metro area, you can see Futurecast is insistent on breaking some holes in the cloud cover, a lot like what we saw yesterday. And if that happens, we should have no problem getting into the upper 50s. All right, overnight tonight, the sky clears, and then we get socked in with fog tomorrow morning. A little bit of a breeze develops, though, and that should help scour out the fog on Saturday. Mid-50s will do it for highs today, cooler than yesterday, but still way above average for this time of the year. We continue mild into Sunday, but that is our next weather system coming in with generally light rain Sunday, more meaningful, significant rain coming our way Monday. Nothing like what we just had, but it is going to be a fairly wet go of it Monday and especially Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll look at that coming up in just a few minutes. Let's get out the door with our first traffic alert of the morning. We'll take you to West Lynn, I-205 southbound. There's a crash near 10th Street. It's approaching the 10th Street exit. The southbound right lane is blocked. We'll zoom in and you can see traffic really slow getting around that. The headlights representing the southbound shot, or the southbound drive, I can say. That's back near Willamette Falls Viewpoint. And in fact, the backup now extends towards Oregon City. So that's about 4 miles of really thick traffic on 205 southbound between Gladstone and West Lynn. Once you get around that, the rest of the drive's actually in pretty good shape. And China so far, other than that, no other major freeway trouble this morning.
Thank you, Chris. A custodian at Silverton Silverton School, is recovering in the hospital after falling 20 feet through a gym's ceiling. Devin Haskins has more on why he was up there and how he's doing.
I couldn't ask for a better team of people to save my life.
Daniel DeCola has no regrets about what happened.
It was my job to be up there, and I was the best person to do it.
For the last 8 years, he's been keeping Robert Frost Elementary in working order.
Well, and I love that building. I mean, so eventually I want to go back.
On December 3rd, DeCola noticed at least 2 broken trusses in the attic above the kitchen. The school shut down for the following 2 days as inspectors assessed and repaired the damage. He says he went into the attic above the gym the next day with an inspector to see if there were any other broken trusses.
I went to go step where I assumed there was a good spot to step. Apparently I did not, and I fell through. And then I woke up here at the hospital.
20 feet below, DeCola landed on the hardwood floor.
Overall, I had 12 broken bones. I've been having a hard time keeping track of every single one, but they definitely let me know every time I stand up.
He doesn't remember anything, just stepping and waking up. Despite the multiple broken bones and not being able to walk around or eat without help, he's kept nothing but a positive attitude about it all.
Not have any brain damage, and I'm just really thankful that nothing at this moment looks like a lasting injury.
The district says the broken trusses are now fixed, and inspectors said the school is safe. School reopened the following Monday, and the district says they don't know what caused the 60-plus-year-old trusses to break. Right now, that broken truss is supported with a temporary fix. The school district says over winter break, it'll look to repair that truss structure, but in the long term, they'd like to replace the entire roof. In Silverton, I'm Devin Haskins, KGW News.
Michael Allen Harrison in the house this morning, and coming up in 2 minutes, we are getting a preview of his annual Christmas at the Old Church Spectacular. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues after this.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Happy holidays. And this morning we are joined by pianist extraordinaire and friend of the Sunrise Show, Michael Allen Harrison. Tomorrow marks the start of his yearly holiday special, Christmas at the Old Church. So let's take a little listen for a preview. Shows are going on every day tomorrow through Christmas Eve. For more details on times and tickets, go to michaelallenharrison.com.
On a Friday morning on Sunrise. Love it.
Yeah, it's nice to have that once a year.
It is my favorite Sunrise show of the year. Every
Yes.
year that we've been doing this, it's like just walking in the door.
You see
So Michael Allen Harrison
Yeah.
jamming away on the piano, or
Yeah.
sometimes playing those really soft, beautiful tunes in a way that only he can do. It's
Yeah, it's
awesome.
great.
Good stuff. All right, let's get you out the door. How about that? Yeah, that's really pretty. That's from Sunrise, from Timberline, 6,000 feet on Mount Hood, pointing south towards Mount Jefferson. The Three Sisters off in the distance. Really pretty, colorful sunrise. And then down here in the nooks and crannies of the Cascade foothills, of course, we've got the low cloud deck, which is what we are stuck beneath. Also, it's 41 degrees at 6,000 feet on Mount Hood. The freezing level today is up at 12,000 feet. It has been crazy warm for the first 11 days of December, 7.6 degrees above average through December 11th, through yesterday at Portland International Airport. We hit 62 back-to-back days. We had a record warm overnight low earlier, and all that's to say that obviously there's been no snow in the Cascades, like zero, none at the Cascade ski resorts. Hold on. This is the GFS interpretation of the snow level as we go into the middle stages of next work week. It drops. Not only does the GFS model say this, but so does the European model. Both are kind of coming into sync here with not just a couple of days of lowering snow levels, but maybe a pattern shift that would give us 5 to 8 days of opportunity to have snow, not only to the Cascade ski resorts, but down below pass level. So something to keep in mind as well if you have some travel plans, but also just potentially some real hope on the horizon for the Cascade ski resorts. All right, that's in the future. For now, we've got some fog, a little patch of drizzle out there this morning. Fog tomorrow, and then I'm optimistic that we'll see a little sun in the afternoon, and then rain returns Sunday and beyond. Sunday's rain doesn't look like too big of a deal, but Monday, you know, since we just went through just some catastrophic flooding in western Washington, rain is obviously top of mind here. We do tap into some tropical or subtropical moisture next week, but it is nothing like what we just went through. That being said, our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe next week, this is Futurecast, and you can see 2 or 3 systems bring us a pretty good shot of rain. So cumulatively, again, this is over 3 days, we could pick up an inch, maybe an inch and a half of rain next week, so adding to an already wet December. This morning, it's fog and low clouds that have swallowed up the tops of the downtown skyscrapers. It's 54 last check at PDX. The air saturated, 100% humidity in Salem, hence the dense fog down there. Hillsborough, McMinnville, Salem all have a half-mile visibility. You folks under a dense fog advisory until 10 o'clock this morning. And that fog may not lift, at least not in Marion County, which will probably keep your temperatures suppressed a little bit. Tomorrow morning, we all probably see some fog, and then that should burn off, and we'll maybe finish our Saturday with some sun. Today, mid-50s here in Portland. Tomorrow, about the same ballpark, mid-50s, and then some light rain Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, really wet. Maybe to the tune of an inch, maybe an inch and a half of rain. And of course, as the temperatures drop, so do the snow levels. And that is great news for the Cascades. Okay, let's get you out the door. And right now the drive is, well, we got one trouble spot that's in the clearing stages now. I-205 heading into West Lynn. Southbound, earlier crash has been moved to the right shoulder. You can see it there on the left-hand side of your screen. The drive, though, is still really, really slow. We've got about 4 miles of backup here that extends across the Abernathy Bridge. So I-205 between Gladstone and West Lynn is going to take you a few extra minutes this morning. The trip in from Hillsborough, also building. That's up to 25 minutes now from Brookwood Parkway to downtown.
Thank you, Chris. We are 55 days out from the Winter Olympics, and still to come on Sunrise, we are taking a look at the difference between bobsledding, luge, and skeleton. Don't go anywhere. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We are now 55 days away from the Winter Games in Milan and Cortina, Italy, and the torch relay is making progress. Yesterday, the flame started making its way to Florence after leaving the Tuscany region. Some 10,000 torch bearers will carry the flame on its nearly 8,000-mile journey. The torch will travel through all 110 Italian provinces before reaching Milan in time for the opening ceremony on February 6th. And as we look ahead to the games, the need for speed on a sheet of ice is front and center when you're talking about sliding sports. So let's take a look at the difference between bobsledding, luge, and skeleton.
Think of bobsled as a combination of Formula One and NASCAR racing on ice, where the torpedo-shaped sleds reach speeds of up to 90 miles an hour. An entire team is involved in the design, fabrication, and maintenance of a sled. Competitions for both women and men include sleds with 2 athletes. Men also compete in a 4-person sled, while women also race in a monobob, where 1 athlete does all the work. In skeleton, athletes compete head-first on a flat sled. Speeds typically range between 80 and 87 miles an hour. You will see both women's and men's individual, and for the first time ever, a mixed team competition. And in luge, both men and women slide down a track lying on their backs, relying on reflexes and body balance to steer the sled. Luge is the fastest sport in the Winter Games, with speeds reaching 90 miles an hour. The blades under the sled are also sharper than bobsled and skeleton and more difficult to control. Both men and women will compete in singles and doubles, along with a team relay.
And coming up at 8, KGW Sunrise continues live on KGW Plus with the heart-stopping moment. A skydiver gets stuck on a plane's tail after he jumps out. How he manages to get down safely. You have to see the footage to believe it. It does end well, I will tell you that. We'll see you at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock.